Hi guys, it's Jacob Dupre here at NAMM 2026, and I'm at the Nord booth. I'm going to show you what's new. This year, we've got the Nord Electro 7. Finally, we've got a new Electro. Now, I got to get it out of the way right now. You might have seen the release last week and noticed there was something missing on the panel over here. Well, don't worry, the 73 key versions are going to get the pitch and mod wheel. So you'll be able to do all that kind of stuff you love to do with your synth leads and everything in real time. So don't you worry about it. Now let's get into the features. Starting on the left, we have the organ, which is now the Nord Organ 3 engine. So it's got the updated rotary drive. You've got 3 mic positions there. And again, this is all imported from the Nord Organ 3, which was new last year. You also can get the half moon switch attachment, which is an accessory. So that allows you to change the rotor speed. If you're an organist at heart, you will love having that. Vibrato, chorus, percussion, organ models, all the standard stuff you can expect. And these organs sound beautiful. The work that they did, that Nord did on the Organ 3 last year is amazing. This rotary, I think, is the best sounding one in the world right now for digital organs. And the enhanced samples that we have in the bass organ sounds are great. You do get physical drawbars there, the ability to split the keyboard. And so you can get your walking bass in one hand, in the left in the split, and then you can play up top. So it gives you the best of everything of the Nord Organ 3 just compacted into this. Now moving on to the right, we have the piano. And the piano engine's been upgraded. It now has all of the features that you can find on the Piano 6, the Grand 2, the Stage 4, keyboard touch settings, unison, dynamic compression, which is, I love it for pianos especially because it brings up those lower dynamics. So when you play softer, it's already going to be more of a balanced sound. Your front of house guy will love that. Timbre there to change the color. And now, kind of moving to the center, you'll notice this screen. It's color. We've got a color screen and new font, and it's bigger. So when I use these new encoders that have this white circle, I can press program, and look at that great big list of programs I have. Isn't that amazing? So before you could maybe see, 4 or 5 things on the page at once. Now it's a huge menu. And all 3 of these encoders have a secondary click. So this will let me get into the piano categories: grand, upright, electric, clav, and one more will let me get into the individual sounds. Then I can go back. That's so awesome. A lot of you might remember with other models, you had to shift and turn the knob, so you needed 2 hands. Now you can get into categories and sounds so much easier. So that's great. And again, that's also the same for the synth. You press this, it gets you into the categories for the sample synth. Spitfire strings are there, orchestral sounds, synth pads, leads, all the great sounds you can expect from the Nord library, the Nord sound library. Now if I shift click here, I can go between samples to analog. There's my waveforms over there, triangle, saw, square. Nice graphic here so you can actually see the oscillators and what you've got selected there. And then one more gets me to FM. So if you want to dive into FM synthesis, it's there. And one of the great new things about the synth section on the 7 from the 6 is a dedicated envelope, attack, decay, and release. And you get that beautiful feedback on the screen so you can see what you're doing. Shift will give you control between sustain and release. So for any of you that want to dive into what Nord can do with synths, this is an amazing addition to this version of the Electro. So much more that you can do there. Moving on, we have the effects section. The standard effects you can find on a lot of models. Again, on the other Nords, you have the pan, tremolo, wah, ring mod, chorus and flanger, phaser, and you have the ability to, of course, assign those to any of the instruments. So when I have all 3 engines on, organ, piano, and synth, that's the max amount of layers I can have. Now I can do FX focus and add effects on piano, add something to the synth, maybe add an amp model there, and now I can quickly go back and see what effects I've applied to each sound. Or of course you can do the same thing when you turn on a sound, it will snap. So it's really smart, really easy to navigate. One of my favorite new sounds, I'll say, is the Astoria Grand, which is a beautiful piano modeled after a Steinway, a 1960s Steinway. It's beautiful for jazz. and I'm a jazz guy, so I get lost playing on this piano. It's awesome, it's incredible. And even on this semi-weighted waterfall action, which is not hammer action, it's actually still very nice for pianos, but of course perfect for synth and organ as well. Moving on, the next preset is a Rhodes type sound, an electric piano that's utilizing the new suitcase amp model. It's beautiful, it adds a nice body and character to the sound. As you crank the drive, it gets more aggressive, and it's just beautiful. It adds some nice harmonics and crunch to the sound. Over to the right further here, you have delay compressor, which of course is after. I like to think of the dynamic compression on the piano as being a pre kind of compressor, and this is a post compressor. So if you hit hard, it'll activate, bring that down a bit. Delay we mentioned. Global reverb, so that applies to the whole instrument, but you can do layer send when that's on, and you can send a different amount of reverb to each engine. So if I want to do piano about that much, synth, dial it down, I have some control over that. I mentioned the rotary. You have the accessory, which is plugged in back here. You have a left and right out, headphone jack, expression pedal, because you can use expression pedal assign. And now if I had a pedal, I'd be able to control the volume, and that goes for all of these that have the LED light there, rate and amount on mod and 2. So you can be automating that and controlling those parameters in real time. Now, key bed. This, as I said, is the semi-weighted waterfall key bed, 61 keys. But the Electro 7 will also come in the 73 key version and an HP hammer action, which has a kawaii hammer action. Now, I really love that one for the weighted feel, especially with things like the Astoria Grand or the other beautiful Grands like the Royal or the White Grand, which have been on Nords for a long time, the uprights. That HP hammer action is beautiful. It's very similar to the one you'll find on the Grand 2. So if you ever played one of those, that's your closest comparison. But the Grand 2 has a bit of a bigger body. This is a more compact form, compact chassis. So that kawaii key bed has been shrunk down a bit to be able to accommodate the smaller chassis. But it's my favorite. I think the Nord Electro 7 HP with the 73 keys and that kawaii key bed, I love it. I get lost playing piano on that thing. You know, this whole show, it's been a big winner so far. So, one last thing. You might be wondering, how do I know if I need the Electro 7, or say, how do I know if I need the Stage 4 or one of the other keyboards? Well, there's a few things I'll tell you. If you know you need 88 keys, full piano keys, you got to go with the Stage 4 because that has 88 keys. Now, if you don't, you could go with the Electro. And the good thing is you don't have to sacrifice weighted feel because, again, with the 7 HP, you get that kawaii hammer action, weighted action. Also, the Stage 4 gives you 7 total layers, where the Electro only has 1 piano, 1 synth, and 1 organ. So if you want something that's more portable, you can sacrifice a few of the layers, but you still want to get all the great sounds and have something that's easy to take on a gig. The Electro 7 is a huge winner. I think it's going to be probably one of the biggest releases this year in the keyboard world. I'm excited to play it. It's been a great show. We've had some amazing players here. We've had Kevin Powell, all these wonderful players sit down and play this. Everybody's impressed. So look for this in the early summer, maybe April or May of this year, and the Electro 7 will be there. So thank you so much. Jacob Dupre here at NAMM 2026, and we'll see you next year.